Oh, how do you shut the radio off on this thing? Good, how are you, Jack? Just getting this thing set up. We'll get started in a minute. I can't even use Forza. All I want is no music. We all know YouTube hates music. Come on, turn off. How do I turn off the music? Kind of like the classical, though. Anyone know how to turn off the music in Forza? Probably just in the settings. There it is. There. If you happen to have Xbox Live and you play Forza, feel free to come find me. My name in Forza is Sporadic Motion with a 0 at the end. But we'll do this for a few minutes. Once we get a couple people here, I guess we can get started. Oh, damn. And that's how I hit trees. Yeah. I'm gonna go find this barn find. It's one of my favorite parts about Horizon. It's good. You should be listening to your mom. That's important. How do I change the size of this without messing with that? It doesn't really sound like a spider. Like, there's some glitches around the spider in this game too. You can tell that they just wanted they took the Mazda Miata and turned it into the spider. Like in Forza 7, if you use the 124 spider, and then you quit the game, when you come back to the game, it'll always have a different car. It'll never let you have the spider as your default car in Forza 7. So I'm guessing that it was like completely a second thought. Like they didn't put all that much effort in. Like go to throw a roll cage in it, and you get, I don't know. The Miata is a better model when you look at Forza. It's just it's a little disappointing. Actually, one of John Bushbaum's neighbors worked on Forza. He did the audio or worked on the audio, and yeah. I think that was one of my logged complaints with that guy. Not that he could ever do anything about it. I don't think he works there anymore. But yeah, anyhow. Yeah. There's a couple things I'm unhappy with in Forza Horizon. One of them is the wheels. So in Forza 7, you can pretty much get the basic wheels you need to simulate the 949 6ULs. But in Horizon, they don't give you the option. Like you can put on like RPF 1s, and I think that's about the closest you're going to get in terms of appearance. So disappointing. I think every car guy in the world, when they play something like Forza, you know, if your car is available in the game, you make your dream version, you make the current version as to what you have. Oh, this game is actually super, super good. I used to be a PlayStation guy up until Forza 5 and the Xbox One. That switched me off of Gran Turismo. I loved Gran Turismo. There's still some things I wish were in this. Hey, it's an abarth. Where are you? Probably went right past me. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. I play with the clutch setup in my Forza. Oh, come on. Come on. Out of my way. Oh, minis. Where's my 500? I want to drive with my 500 friend. Whatever. No problem, Zero Star. Glad to. Oh, yeah. See, PlayStation. Okay, so something I like about the PlayStation is the modification of the cars. Like, even back in an earlier Gran Turismo on the 3, you were able to, like, change how wide the wheels were on pretty much every car. Like, you could make the wheels stick out way too far. There's a lot of bugs around some of that stuff, but whatever. It was still a lot of fun. You could really modify how the car looked. Some models of cars in Forza let you add some body kits or do wide body stuff now, but you know, they're finally just adding that. And I don't know, I felt like the last version of Gran Turismo I played still had some better customizations, but yeah. Okay, Jack, yeah, I completely agree. Like, the uniqueness of the sound is completely missing in this game. It's you know, sound is a difficult thing to replicate, I guess, but I don't think they put much effort into the Abarth sound replication, particularly in the 124. Like, the Abarth 500, it sounds a bit more like an Abarth, I guess, but it's not as good as the real deal. Not even close. The 124. If yeah, anyone ever works there, please do better on the sound. One thing I like about more modern video games, you know, this thing always bothered me, and it was missing in most of the versions of Gran Turismo that I played, and that was when you go through a tunnel and you get that tunnel sound. You know, like, as a real car person, whenever you go through a tunnel, you end up rolling your windows down and you listen to what it sounds like. You want to hear that sound, right? And when you're playing a video game, right, as an adult playing a video game, really, yeah, you want that same kind of effect, right? You do this to, you know, do the things that you can't do in real life unless you're on a track, right? This is a great way to get that that urge out. Actually, great way to play with a car on a rainy day too. But anyhow, yeah, I wish it was perfect, but nothing is. I think there's a couple other driving simulators out there that are a bit better in terms of some of the realism for the Abarth. Like, I don't know. This is really the only game I'm into at this point in time, but I know there is a couple other games that really kind of have more focus on the Abarth. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you want to play Forza, you definitely should get an Xbox. I think they have it for PC now, though. I'm not really much of a gamer, to be honest. Forza car games are pretty much the only thing I was ever really into. Yeah, really. Well, no, Gears of War. But that's a whole other thing. Anyhow. Oh yeah. Well, when you get one, it's quite the experience. Like, I wasn't into Fiats until I got my first Fiat. I bought a 500 Sport Turbo, and I used to work in speed shops. So when I saw the Sport Turbo sitting beside the Abarth, I saw the same car. Like, everything looked identical under the hood, really. And yeah, so I ended up getting one because I figured it could be tuned to match the Abarth. But the drive home, like, that's when I kind of realized how much I was going to enjoy this car. It was just an instant thing. At that moment, I kind of regretted not getting an Abarth, but the tuner in me didn't really care. Yeah, you'll love it when you get it, Jack. Seriously, it's they're phenomenal cars, especially for the price too, right? Like, they're not exactly an expensive car. You get a lot for what they are. If any of you have Forza, feel free to let me know you're online. I play in the North American servers because I'm in Canada. But yeah, feel free. Jump on here if you have Forza Horizon 4. Oh, come on. Yeah, if you have Forza Horizon 4 and an Xbox or whatever you need to play on Xbox Live. Okay, this is the speed section. I'm going to gank this miserably. I almost always do. I actually like Forza 7 better. I'm better at Forza 7 than I am Horizon. But when I was setting this stuff up earlier, trying to get it to work, yeah, it just wouldn't give me the option. Let's go off-roading. Yeah, look at that. And this is what's more fun about Horizon compared to something like Forza 7. You're confined to a track in Forza 7. And it's more realistic in terms of how they got the tire physics and what actually driving a car is like. But, yeah, I don't know. If you own a Fiat 124 and you want to take it off-roading and you actually do take it off-roading, my hat's off to you. But this is about as close as I'll ever get willingly doing it, except for when I hit the tree. That was different. But that wasn't intentional. That was just me hitting a tree. That was the strangest thing. Oh, hitting a tree in a car sucks. Especially the Oh, yeah. Come on, flip. It's actually really hard to flip the car. Hitting a tree with a car sucks. It's one of those moments where you just kind of, it happens and the reality of it doesn't sink in. I really wish I had the camera there when I wrecked that first car. Oh, good Lord. I didn't think it was wrecked really when it first happened either. Like my buddy and I were in the car, we hit the tree, we watched the airbags come out towards us. They didn't touch either of us. We sat there staring at them. And we're like, oh, got out of the car, looked at it. We're like, oh, it's not so bad. It didn't look bad at all. But then sure enough, yeah, the thing was written off. Blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Actually, the Recaros are what wrote the thing off. If I didn't have the Recaros, it wouldn't have been written off. But in insurance terms here, they ended up adding a crazy amount of money to the car. And yeah, it's got written off. Otherwise, I'd still be driving the black 124. But yeah, anyhow. Off-road 124 Spider build confirmed. Yeah, someone should do it. I'd love to do something like that out of an old Spider. Like an old, I don't know. Be a lot of work turning one of those old Spiders into a little rally car. Yeah, see, if hitting a tree does a number on a car, and if it looks like it crumpled up, I'm sure, yeah, it was an obvious write-off. I hope she's okay. That would suck. It's no fun hitting a tree, but yeah. Or getting in any accident really can't be much fun. Like, that's the only time I've actually hit something with my car. You know, that actually counts, not me scraping something, but it's the only time I've ever hit something with my car. I've been in one other accident, but that's someone rear-ended me when I was sitting still. But they were in the car. I didn't buy the car back just because the way it worked out, it made more sense just to get a new car. And what you got to realize is basically after we were done at the Dragon, all the parts I added to the car were going to come out anyways, and I was going to rebuild everything because the built engine build needed bigger stuff than what was in the car. So I just left it all. The Recaros was really the only thing that I was going to miss there. The car ended up selling at an auction in London, Ontario. But yeah, they are very difficult to find. It's, yeah. And when I ended up with those Recaros, that was just the most bizarre thing in the world to me. Like, I offered money for them. Like, the guy just wanted to trade. Blew my mind. Just traded seats with me. Like, good Lord. No, my Pistons don't have any dents from an EC tune, but yeah, I don't run EC tunes. Yeah, it was pure luck that I got those. Absolute luck. They were amazing too. It's like when I got the white car, like I managed to get myself a pretty good deal on the car. And unfortunately, part of the deal was I had to buy something that was in stock, and none of the cars that were in stock had the Recaros. I would have got a car that had the Recaros if there was one in stock. Well, should I say if there was one that was in stock and manual. They had Recaro cars in there, but they were all automatics, and I wasn't willing to buy an automatic just for obvious reasons. Hope that makes sense. Yeah. If you end up wanting to buy a 124 and you like the Recaros, just pony up, get them, buy them. You want them. That's the other game. That's the one I was talking about, Assetto Corsa. That's the other game that has that seemingly puts a lot of effort into the Fiat 500 abarths at the very least. I'm not really up to speed on that game at all, but also, I'm not much of a PC gamer, more of an Xbox gamer. Computers are more of a work thing to me, to be honest. Yeah, Brembos, no Recaros, yeah. I've never ever thought about getting the Brembos on the car just because there's so many different braking options. If you're not going to modify the car or you really just want those Recaros, it's a great option. You should opt for them. I'll be doing something with the brakes on this car, probably something Goodwin related. That guy's got a lot of brake options for the car. I like the Goodwin exhaust a lot. Either that or the auto Ricambi resonated. So those are the two that I've run. I like resonated exhausts just because they keep the volume down a little bit more. If you're going to have a stock catalytic converter, which, you know, if you're not going to go too far, I'd recommend keeping it. Just doing the auto Ricambi resonated, I think that'll get you to a volume level that you'll probably be kind of happy with, unless you want to make a lot of noise. Yeah, it's actually surprising how decently toned that Goodwin exhaust is. The only reason my car's got any volume to it, really, I attribute more to the 200 cell catted downpipe. But yeah. First mod for a 124 Spider. Okay, so if you get an abarth, the suspension's not bad. If you don't want to go too crazy on the car, you know, I guess it all depends on what you want. If you're going for power, to be honest, the first thing you should do is replace the turbo. That's the very first thing you should do. The stock turbos will never get you very far. You get capped at absolute max. I think you'll see it'll be about 200. The 500 abarths are right around the same. Like they can go a little bit higher, like 205 on the dyno that I'm used to seeing these things on. But ultimately, yeah, if you want to actually make some power on anything with a multi-year 1.4, a bigger turbo. The 1752, it's a phenomenal turbo. On the 500, it's a no-brainer. Oh, yeah, no, honestly, turbo swap first thing. Seriously, these things don't end up making a ton of power. It's a 1.4-liter engine. And multi-air can be an absolute pain. So if you just put a slightly bigger turbo on it, you will be happy from the get-go. Like my black car with a 1752 on basically the stock turbo, yeah, that was actually enough. That was actually enough for just a daily car to bomb around. Like that car with just a stage 0 tune on it, which is like a 170 horsepower tune on a stock turbo, that with E85, that made 200 horsepower with the 1752, that same tune. Like that thing is, yeah, love 1752s. Now the stuffed turbos are good options too, and there's a couple of them out there. Soon. So John has one on order for me. I'm getting the first one. Just seriously, having a best friend that runs a speed shop is awesome. We were not friends before the world of Fiat, but yeah, man. Either way, I'll have mine soon. I know that he has a couple other ones coming with that one. But you know, let me see what happens with this turbo first. Let's see what it ends up making for power before I'm willing to say to get anything. But like, John's always done me right, so we'll see what this turbo does. What we're aiming to do with the built engine and that stuff turbo is about 300 horsepower. So this turbo, in theory, should be able to support 300 wheel horsepower. You know, as long as everything else is set up to handle it. But yeah, either way, it should be really soon. There will be videos coming out with that turbo extremely, extremely soon. 5 years. Yeah, the car hasn't been out that long, Kevin. Yeah, the 1446 do run out of breath really, really quick. You know, there's some... That's one of the things that I like about stuffed turbos, though. Like, these stuffed turbos that are starting to come out, they've been out for a while for the 500s, but when one of them gets done right, and I mean right, like it has an equally balanced intake and exhaust wheel, you end up with a turbo that's really, really capable. Like guys in Europe are using those things on T-Jets, and they're making some serious power. Guys in North America are having a lot of good luck with them too. You know, as long as it's not too big on the inside, you end up with a turbo that's going to spool, you know, half decent. It's going to make some decent top end. Like really, a stuffed turbo should be able to beat a 1752 if it's done right. The only thing a 1752 has on a 1446, ultimately, in terms of what's going on in that compressor housing, is actually really the stack height. Outside of that, there's not really much of an advantage to that compressor housing. But I love the 1752 regardless for what it is. If you end up putting one on a 124, though, be careful. The actuator hits the hood, so you end up having this little dent in your heat shield, which isn't really a big deal. It didn't bother me on my black one, but anyhow. We'll have some numbers for you soon. Yeah, pretty stoked. Multi-air springs. Oh, multi-air springs are a no-brainer. That's one of the greatest upgrades for these cars. Good Lord, I wasn't expecting them to be as much of an upgrade as they actually were. I'm usually pretty doubtful on most parts that get bolted onto cars. Like, it's something I think that drives John nuts because, you know, we're friends and everything, and we became friends over car stuff, but, like, we still argue, like, and I still don't always agree with him. We have our disagreements, and like the multi-air springs, I was super doubtful whether they'd work, but 99 times out of 100, John's right. And yeah, wow. Phenomenal upgrade too. Like they're stupid cheap too, but yeah. Yeah, it's not a valve spring. It's on the pressurizing plunger. So on the camshaft, there is a third lobe that goes up to a rocker arm, and that rocker arm hits a plunger with a spring on it. That's what that replaces. Oh, warning inactivity. Oh, look at that. I was inactive. How do I... See? I don't even know what's going on in my game anymore. I'm hitting trees. It's like real life. I need to swap out for a white car. Actually, let's pick a different car. What car should I use? I almost always drive the 124, but what car should I drive? Actually, you know what? We'll use the Giulia. The Giulia sounds magnificent in this game. From all the sounds that I've heard coming out of the Giulia engine, I don't really think they quite sound like this. Yes, I would like to have the car delivered. But yeah, man, I wish it would sound like it does in this game. Just, I think they took one of the Ferrari sound clips and just applied it over top. I could see myself owning a Giulia at some point, just as a car. They're such phenomenal looking things. I still haven't driven one in real life. Forza, it's for grown-ups to fantasize about things. Okay, let's crash a Giulia. Blindly through the forest. Oh yeah, look at that! That almost sounded Clint-like. Yes! See, I'm not a very good gamer. I'm really not. I do play with a clutch, though. This is a clutch, see? Real men use a clutch. Real people use a clutch. Only robots don't. What else we got here? A 2876. Yeah, 28s are really good turbos, actually. But my only curiosity is why you'd use a 2876. Because like a 2860, to me, it'd be a better mated or a better matched turbo, really. Because like the exhaust side on a 76 is huge. Like you'd be waiting forever for it to spool. And I think you can get like a 0.62 AR on the 2860. With a Gen 2, I don't know. I've always been curious what that turbo would do with some good tuning. Like, people have used GT25s, and there's been a couple turbos around those used, but a multi-air with a 2860, I'd love to see what that does. Really love to see what that does. The length of hose coming off an actuator shouldn't actually really matter that much, really, as long as you're not, you know, doing miles of loops. As long as it goes from where it needs to go to where it has to be. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, just not nests of the stuff. You know, if you want to be best practice, it's going to be as short as possible where it's not going to, you know, pull on something. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Trees, yeah. Well, right now I'm hitting houses. My buddy Scott sent me a video yesterday of Canadian race car drivers or rally drivers running into a house. And yeah, it was mostly to speak on how Canadians react to hitting things. It's just like, meh, it's okay. I was amazed with how good BC insurance operates when you crash a car in another country. I don't know, out of anything I was concerned about when I hit that tree, I think that's the thing I was the most concerned about, just because I don't know, you're in a different country and you're in a wrecked car. I don't know. I was actually really surprised how, you know, good they actually were. It's pretty astonishing. We pay a bit more in this province for our insurance, but I think that's that part in itself. I don't know. I was pretty happy with them, but Alex Como, Targa, Newfoundland. Wait, what? I've never been to Newfoundland. Like, I've been to most of the provinces. Like, I was born in New Brunswick, and I've been to every province between New Brunswick and British Columbia, but I've never been to Newfoundland. One of my best friends is a Newfie, and his dad's hardcore Newfie. It's so good. It's I couldn't understand the man when I first met him. He's from Bell Island, and then I think I was just after I turned 19. I was at my buddy's place, and we were having some drinks. I ended up drinking with his dad instead for the night, and I drank a bottle of rum with the guy. And by the end of the night, I could understand him. It was absolutely brilliant. But Oh, Target. Oh, okay. Newfoundland. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. There we go. So it was Canadians hitting a house in Canada. That's even better. Newfoundland, last province to join Canada. One of the greatest groups of folks you've ever met, though. Anyhow. So if any of you have any questions about anything to do with any of the cars, yeah, holler it at me, because I'm actually mildly enjoying playing games and streaming. It's a little bit nervous about turning this thing on. I'm used to having, you know, a camera in front of me and then time to edit. So this is kind of a very unedited thing, which is different when it's not what you're used to. Oh. Any of you play video games in surround sound? The LeBaron. I have lots of suspension parts for the LeBaron sitting over in that corner. Yeah, it's yeah, no, lots of boost. Yeah, it's the LeBaron. So yeah, bought that as a joke. A friend of mine loves Chrysler LeBarons. If you're ever in Vancouver, look up the Smiling Buddha Cabaret. It's a old Vancouver venue, and my buddy Malcolm reopened the thing. Him and this guy Andrew, another buddy of mine, they opened it a few years back and turned it into an indoor venue / skate park. And so it's an indoor ramp and it's massive and they have bands playing there. Either way, so he loves Freddy Got Fingered. And if you've ever seen Freddy Got Fingered, the Chrysler LeBaron convertible is a thing. So I saw it on Craigslist and I called the guy, made an appointment to see it. And then I called my buddy and told him I was going to buy a LeBaron and said, hey, you want it? We can go splits on it. We can play with it. I really don't care. It's Chrysler LeBaron. It's awesome. So he said, yeah, he was in. I bought the thing for like $800. And then when I'm done with it, he's going to take it over. I'm going to do some fixes on it so it's a drivable car for him. But this man deserves the Chrysler LeBaron. Anyhow, so yeah, it's got a full suspension. I have to have new spring perches made for it. That's the only thing that was actually rotted out on the underside of it, which is really surprising. Anyhow, so full KYB suspension. And then John, being a former SRT guy, and when he was becoming a mechanic back in the day, he actually learned on these cars. So John actually has some Go Fast parts for these sitting around from back in the day. So we're going to strap some Go Fast parts onto the LeBaron and try and build a fast LeBaron sleeper. Yeah, it should be entertaining, but yeah. You know, it soured me towards doing the built thing, kind of, but like I still like the engines. Like I still want to play with them. They're a lot of fun. The multi-year thing has me a bit nervous, but one thing I didn't show you in the video is, well, I guess we didn't really talk about it. So that's the only reason we didn't show you is the stuff that was in the multi-year filter was casting sand. So casting sand is from the process of manufacturing the block, which means that, yeah, my multi-year filter was clogged from excess sand from the manufacturing of the engine. And that seems to be what the issue was. Now, my car, on the way home, it was essentially cleaning itself out because the catch cans were still capturing some of that oil that had managed its way into the intake system from messing up the catch can system initially. My fault. But then after that was done, the catch cans stopped, filling themselves up. The car got progressively faster and faster. So I don't know what the car is doing right now. It feels quite a bit faster right now. But like I said, I don't trust butt dynos. So as soon as I can get the car down there, we're going to see how much power it's making. But like, it does have a 42 millimeter compressor in it. While the exhaust wheel is not quite big enough to really drive it well, it is still a 42 millimeter compressor wheel. So we'll see what it's actually doing. Now, 4x100 isn't that limited, really, compared to 4x98 that the Fiat 500 folk have to deal with. Like, it's not 5x100 or anything, but I don't know. I like a lot of the wheel choices that are available in 4x100, I have to say. No, I'm not a drifter. I've thought about it. I'd like to learn how to do it. I think I'd want to learn a different car, to be honest. So that is something I've thought of. I look at Miatas when I think about that, usually. Get myself an NA or an MB Miata. That's I'm in Canada this weekend. This is one of the few weekends I've been in Canada in the last while. It's yeah, so I'm not starting anything right at this moment, but yeah, everything's very, very soon. I'm really excited. December is the month of the built engine. Well, once it's done, you know, I think I'll show everyone what it took once it was done. Like, I'll reveal like a bit more information about what it takes to do the Julia swap. It actually, I'll tell you right now, it doesn't really seem all that bad. But it's just it's been a little costly. That's been really the only big deal about it. Like, you know, just getting the engine together as a piece, just the engine, transmission, and that timing chain cover included, it's about 15 grand. That's the biggest blocker. If you want to spend some money doing something like an LS swap or whatever, you can do that for a bit cheaper. But like, you know, if you're willing to spend that kind of money, like, this is kind of a cool concept. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like. Like, I don't even know what it's like yet. I can only kind of dream about it. Like, I have in Forza, I have a V6 swapped 124 that I like to play with. I'm in dreaming mode, right? It's until the day where I actually get to drive it. Yeah, complete dreaming mode. But yeah, I love Miatas. I really do love Miatas. I really do prefer the look of the Fiat over the ND Miata personally, but even the ND I do like. Like, I love the Miata. It's, yeah. The 4C engine, the only reason I didn't do that is because the 4C engine is an option in that car if you buy the rally car. Like, that 1.8 they call it is the 175 from the 4C. Like, it's an alpha engine. If you go look at the valve covers, you can see they're the same engine. But yeah, the 4C, I actually almost bought a 4C before getting the second 124. It basically came down to the fact that I didn't feel like I was done with the platform yet. I will eventually buy a 4C. There's a couple cars that I've always wanted that are on my list of things that I want to eventually buy. 4C is one of them. Ferrari 360 Modena is one of them as well. That is one of my favorite cars of all time. That is, yeah. Love those things. You know what? There is a guy in the community who invented a mount for the 124s on his own. His name's Eric Malone. That guy invented a great mount for the car. I tried driving his car when I was at the Dragon, and the one really positive thing I had to say about that car was his engine mount design. He did something. Like, my shifter when I was at the Dragon had already developed a bunch of slop. Like, that's why I actually ground a gear on the one attempt at running against the 500. Otherwise, you wouldn't miss that shift. But it was really sloppy. Eric's car, good lord, it was just tight as could be. No additional NVH. It was a brilliant mod. Absolutely brilliant. I'll be emulating what he did when we put the built engine in. Like, smart guy. I love what he did. So, Kevin, I would actually search him out. You should be able to find him. Go talk to him. He's really, really, really good. Yeah, it's fair if you like the Miata better than the Spider. I can understand that. Like, it is the OG. I will say that. Like, yeah, it was there a long time ago, but you have to admit that the Fiat saved the Miata, right? If it wasn't for Fiat money, that wouldn't have been happening. So, you know, Miata's the OG, but the Fiat saved the Miata. But it doesn't matter. They're both great cars. I'm actually glad they added some horsepower to the Miata. It needed it a bit more, I think, than the Fiat. The Fiat has such a great feeling out of the factory with that torquey bump that, yeah, I don't know, it was great. Giving the Miata a bit more power was a good call as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, 360 Modena is one of the best looking Ferraris of all time. I absolutely love it. The newer Ferraris are really, really nice. Really, really nice. But yeah, I like the 360. Steph ABTV. How are you, sir? Hope you're doing well. Man, I want to go to England, and I will end up in England within 1 year's time. Easy, no problem. And when I'm there, I'm going to go visit Steph. I really want to go visit Steph and Jay as well. There's a few folks I want to go visit in England. I've been in I went to England probably 4 years ago. I think that's the last time I was in England. It was about 4 years ago, maybe even 4.5, 5. But no, it was about 4 years ago because I owned my Fiat 500. One of the greatest things about being over there is the sheer number of Fiats everywhere. I only saw a couple of Barths while I was there. But yeah, England, you guys love your small cars. I absolutely love it. So good. Yeah, the 488. I think it's a really cool car, but it's just so new. It's just too much. too much. Like I feel like all the cars have gotten so angular, like too many hard angles. I like soft angles. And I think that's one of the things I like about the 124. Soft angles to me are just, I don't know, a bit sexier. It's sex appeal, but whatever. Some folks really like the 488. I don't know. I also kind of like the F430. I wasn't really so much into that one initially, but a friend of mine got one about a couple of years back, and yeah, the F430 is actually a really nice looking car too. In black, yes, definitely as well. The single round rear. Oh, you mean the taillights? Yeah, I like the single rounds, but I don't know. That's the nice thing about cars. There's different styles for everybody. Porsche guy. Yeah, I'd like to own a Porsche at some point. The garage that we used to do a lot of the build stuff in, I'm sure we'll be back to. The owner of that place, his name's Ross. He's a really, really cool guy. And that old Porsche in the background of those videos is his. And he's going to be building that. I don't know if he started the build yet. I haven't talked to him in a couple months, but I'm looking forward to seeing that thing built. Yeah, another abarth guy in the local Fiat club just recently got himself into Porsches, and watching him get into these things has been actually really, really cool. It's kind of funny. I think he's almost gone up a couple levels in his car fandom because of his experience with Porsches. I don't know. Anyone I know that owns them just seems to kind of get that much more into cars. Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah. I'd like to have a Porsche at some point, though. But I'd probably start with something simple. I don't know. I don't know Porsches well enough to know what I want to start with. But yeah, I don't know. The 914 in toothpaste blue. Is that? I feel like that's what's toothpaste blue? 944s are rad. Yeah, those things are cool. Very cool. I think they're underappreciated. But hold on, I got to see this whole 914 in toothpaste blue. Google toothpaste blue. Is that actually the color? What is it actually called? Is it toothpaste blue or is it another color? Toothpaste. 914 toothpaste. Oh. My buddy's Boxster is Miami blue. On my Instagram, there's some photos of that car. That color is incredible. It's like this really vibrant aquish blue. It's just absolutely amazing. It's funny. It makes that one of the nicer looking Porsches to me, and it's all about the color. And there are nicer lines in the Porsche world. There really are. There's some gorgeous lines in the Porsche world, but his it's not a Boxster, it'd be a Cayman, really. Sorry. I don't know my Porsches at all. Here. When I look up toothpaste blue, I got pictures of Crest. So, yeah. Is it toothpaste blue? It really is toothpaste blue. I'm getting pictures of Maybe I need to put in Porsche instead of 914. Okay. There we go. Google knows everything. Oh. No, is that it? Is it the greeny color or is it the blue color? You're talking about this or you mean like this? That one? Bet you it's that one. Either way. Yeah, Porsches in blue. Most of the times I like neutral colored cars. Like I usually like black and, well, now, yeah, black cars have always been my favorite. But I don't know. The the Miami blue on that Porsche has kind of got me thinking about blues. I really like some of those blues. And then the red Abarth 124. Yeah, that was the other color I would have considered for my new Abarth 124. Love it. The built engine's going in it'll be about a week and a half. I got to get back down there. My next trip down there, what we do to the 124 is start pulling it apart. December is the month of the built engine. By the end of December, it'll be done. If we can get it done in time, I want to go find a drag strip down south in December. Worst case, I have to wait till January. It's you folks get stuck waiting with me, which I feel kind of bad about. A lot of people that make YouTube videos record months in advance, and they're working on a backlog perpetually. Like Roads Untraveled, when he does a video, like anytime I've done something with him, right? You're filming, and then it's usually a month and a half later the video comes out, just because it's such a backlog. And a lot of YouTubers do that. Matt Farah, same thing. Like I was with Matt Farah in the canyons in my 500 probably 2 months before the video came out. But I do things pretty much on a every week basis, or lately only every other week. But I finish filming at Torque on like a Sunday. I drive home, and then I start working on the video in the time that I have between doing my normal day job. And I try to get it out by Friday. But sometimes I'm already back down at Torque by Friday, and we're working on the car Saturday, Sunday. Process repeats, right? And that's one of the reasons that I periodically miss a week, because we're operating more in real time. It's makes it a little bit difficult, but in Forza 7 you can put a V6 in. In Forza Horizon you can't. That really bothers me. Like, here, where are we? I need to go to a place where I can actually drive the car, or I need to go to a garage place. Oh, but I was looking. You know what? Forget. I don't even want to play Forza. If someone comes and joins me, I'll play Forza, but I don't even really want to play at this moment. It's more entertaining talking to this thing. It's nice that you have black and red 124s in your neighborhood. Like, Vancouver's a pretty Fiat-heavy province, really Vancouver's a pretty Fiat-heavy laden city for Canada, and we have a lot of them. But still, like in the wild, I think I've seen 3 spiders. One of them is one that I always saw parked close to my work, and then one black one in traffic, and then one red one I see periodically driving up First Avenue. But yeah, aside from that, I really don't see many of them around, which surprises me. Alvin, hello, sir. Alvin runs one of the Fiat forums, the best new forum that's been put up since the takedown of Fiat Tech. Alvin's a good guy. I'm a fan of Alvin. Alvin, you have me on your friends list. How come you're not playing Forza with me? Just for the record. I'm not sure how much a 124 costs in the States. I'm in Canada. Here in Canada, if you get a decently spec'd abarth 124, they're usually about $40 some odd thousand in Canadian dollars. Well, if you're in South Carolina, you're within driving distance of the Dragon, so I hope you'd have spiders and other fun cars down there. Really? Oh, well, Alvin, when you get home, you could always join in. My gamer tag is Sporadic Motion 0. I actually had Sporadic Motion as well, but I gave it to a friend of mine's kid, and he never changed it, and I can't get it back, and I'm actually okay with that. So that's my gamer tag right there. Gamer tag, Sporadic Motion 0. I do love my Xbox. I do love my Xbox. I originally bought the Xbox purely to be able to talk to a friend of mine back in my hometown. Like, I grew up just outside of Toronto, and that's where all my childhood friends, or not all of them, but a lot of my childhood friends are. So this is my way of interacting with my one buddy, Dave, and playing video games. Do it, Mr. Combe. I'm actually surprised you didn't earlier. Alex is the guy that I went to visit on the way to the Dragon. He's the guy that I stopped in to see in Kansas. The guy has an 800 and some odd horsepower Evo 10. Or Evo, not 10. Evo. Alex is an 8? I think you have an 8. Yeah, he has an Evo 8. My buddy Johnny O has an Evo 10 on his second. There's a million Mustangs everywhere. Evo 8. There you go. So my not slip of the tongue was right. But yeah, Alex is a super smart guy. Actually, I just bought Alex's old Fiat 500 Sport Turbo the other day. So I bought a Fiat 500 Sport Turbo, not even, was it yesterday I did that? Yesterday, I think. Yesterday morning I bought the thing. Now, the QV swap that's going in my car is a very crazy swap, and the reason I bought this car is not for myself. It'll be on the channel. You'll get to see some crazy stuff done with it, but I bought this car as a thank you to John Bushbaum. I don't know enough to do a swap on my own. If I didn't have someone like John helping me with this swap, really. So I bought John a Fiat 500 Sport Turbo as a thank you, and it has a blown engine, and we're going to put an engine in it, and we're going to play with it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super, super excited. It's, yeah. Seeing John actually owning a Fiat, because John's been making Fiat stuff for 5 years now, maybe 6. I think it's 5. And he's never actually owned a Fiat. He's relied on other people dropping off their cars to him to work on. So that's actually how John and I initially met, is he was using my car to develop some parts for the Fiat 500. John actually didn't really like me. I think I kind of annoyed him. But yeah, he's always used other cars to develop, right? So I thought it'd be kind of cool to see what John could do for a Fiat 500 if he owned one. So yeah, I bought one, and yeah, we're going to go pick it up. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be super, super fun. We're going to drive down there with a truck and trailer and go pick it up from one of the staples of the Fiat community. We're going to hang out, and we're going to have tacos. Super, super excited. Love tacos. Yes. Oh, check it out. I made a shirt. I made another shirt. This one's not in a tree. This one's my white car. Yeah. It's kind of the automotive equivalent of having your girlfriend's face on your t-shirt. Super, super fun. Oh. No, John's actually a really, really fun guy. Like, John in person, meeting John is one of the most entertaining things in the world. Like, it's usually a shocking experience. So meeting John Bushbaum is usually first you do this, and then you realize he's just a gentle giant. John's like 6'7". He's massive. Super, super funny. Like, if you watch that one part in the video where he hits that metal cannonball with the torsion bar, yeah, I tried. I couldn't hit it like John did. It's yeah, hilarious. But yeah, so not everyone will annoy John. Me, I annoyed John, but I'm also a persistent pain in the ass, and that's okay. Kevin, you got your intercooler pipes in. Fantastic. Kevin drives a Dodge Dart. He was in the last video. Dodge Darts have the same engines as the Fiat 124s and the 500s. And yeah, actually, when I'm down in the States next, I'm going to be videoing Kevin's car getting dynoed. So he's got a new stuffed turbo in his car from another company that is not John. And John's going to tune the car and see how much power he can make. And John's going to go for full-on balls out to see what he can do. And yeah. Darts are great engine donors. You'd know very well, Alvin. You'd know really well, Alvin. Good Lord. Alvin's done the big turbo thing with a Fiat before. He's also blown things. He knows how it goes. You spun a lobe on your cam, which is understandable when you start looking at the camshafts in the Multi-Air 1.4. So if you actually look at the camshaft in the Multi-Air 1.4, they're pressed on lobes. And if you think about that, pressed-on lobes aren't really an ideal thing to have. It'd be nice if they were full single piece for high RPM, high power applications like Alvin was going for. It is what it is, though. Yeah, multi-air filter cleaning. Yeah, right. That was a lesson, such a lesson. I was talking about this earlier, but cleaning out the multi-air filter, yeah, that seems to have made a difference on my car. Yeah, my car is not behaving nearly as poorly anymore. Between that, the catch cans, the new intake, my oil level hasn't dropped, and I was burning like a gallon every like 800. So that's a pain. Eliminated. So yeah, this engine might actually end up being okay. We're gonna throw it on the dyno and see what it does. But I don't care. It's coming out anyways. Like I've come too far. I've bought too much engine stuff, and I have this idea in my head, so there's no going back anyways, which is fun. Yeah. Where'd you get those hard pipes from? Yes, we want to do the Dragon in 2019. Both John and myself. We were talking about that. It's I want to try and do it without crashing the car on the way back. Oh, I want to try and do it. The worst part about crashing the last one coming back was I was going to drive the car back. We were going to do an oil change, and I was going to run the quarter mile. And then the black one with the 1752, I never got a chance to run it in the quarter mile with the tune it had in it. And that was like 50 horsepower, or sorry, 50 more horsepower than the last time I run it down the quarter mile, right? And, you know, the quarter mile at 200 horsepower, untuned, like I said before, stage 0 tune. With the 85, I ran 14.1 at 99.68. Now, that's not a fast quarter mile time if you're into the quarter mile, but, you know, that was untuned. So after adding 50 more horsepower, I have no idea. Like, I would have loved to have run it. I would have loved to have run it. It was at least a low 13. Easy. But Oh, well. So, you know, if we end up doing that with the white one, I think that's probably the way we'd end up doing it. Finish it off with the quarter-mile run. But the 124 will just get kicked off the quarter-mile if I let it run its full time after all this is done. I know it will. The amount of cage they want in the car for the kind of times it's going to be able to do. John and I have talked about doing a door bar cage in this car. But, yeah. So the stuffed turbo, just I was telling folks earlier, the new one is just about ready. His John's turbo partner called him up, and it should be on its way very soon. We'll have it in time for when the head's back from the same time as when the head's back from the machine shop. So I would honestly wait. Let's make sure that what John and his turbo guy have done works well, and then if it does, yeah, man, go full tilt. Yeah, but I know that right now he's waiting for the new design to come in, and that's probably why you're not hearing from the guy. Just give it some time. I know a lot of folks have been asking John about the stuffed turbo, but good things it's worth waiting for, because quite frankly, like the one that's in my car, neither John or I am happy with the way that thing ended up being, right? Am I going to get kicked out? No, hold on. No, first. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I can't let my Forza game kick me out. There we go. I got one person watching, and it's me. Is anyone okay? If you're watching, I don't care if it's after the stream or whatever, because I'll end up leaving this thing up. If you have a manual Giulia, what is it like to drive that thing balls out? I'd love to see a video of a manual Giulia under full acceleration. Yes. Ooh, that little section of road actually reminded me of the border crossing coming back to Canada from Vancouver, or from Washington State. That driving from my place to John's place, that drive sucks. Like, BC has some of the most incredible driving roads, but like that section between Vancouver and Seattle is boring. Like, there's this one section of road that's actually not too bad, but like the rest of it is just the most boring section of road you've ever seen. So you're driving for like 3 hours of like I now have, I think, 12,000 kilometers on the 124, and most of that's from driving back and forth to John's shop. Oh, right, Ray. Is it Ray? Your comment the other day. I actually completely forgot after I replied to you, just so you know. Yeah, I use Rotella and whatever John keeps in the shop for these cars. Just so you know, the white one's never had any Rotella in it. I haven't done my own oil change on it yet. I've always done it at John's shop. So that means he uses AMSoil. So it has AMSoil oil in it, just so you know. But anyhow, there are lots of good oil breakdown things, and I'm sure Rotella over time is actually probably not, you know, a great oil to keep in your car forever. But I also change the oil relatively frequently. But yeah, just so you know. In where? Yes, yeah, Alvin, I know exactly what you mean. My TD05 was like that, the 4,000 plus rush. Like, it would have been a big wheel in that stuffed turbo if you weren't making power till 4,000 RPM. And, you know, that just also goes to show what a stuffed turbo can do. Like, you can get a lot of wheel into a stuffed turbo. You know, there's a limit, but yeah. Yeah, I actually watch quite a bit of anime. I watch quite a bit of anime. I've been into anime since I was probably about 12 years old. Yep. I remember being the cool kid in high school and having VHS tapes of all of the Dragon Ball movies. And you know, being that, you know, that was in the early 90s. Like, I'm close to 40. I'm 38 years old. And yeah. Having those it made me a cool kid. I was so happy that I had those. Well, cool kid in certain nerd circles. But I also used to play in a band when I was in high school, and we were pretty heavy. And I turned the Sailor Moon theme song into a metal song and played it live. That was fun. Yeah. But whatever. Yes. I've watched Initial D. I've definitely watched Initial D. A86, man. AE86. Yeah, there's a lot of folks that are really into that. Like, I think you can credit Initial D for getting a lot of folks into cars and for getting a lot of folks into the AE86. Like, the AE86 is one of the most iconic cars at this point, and it's essentially because of Initial D. Really, like, it has its own history, but Initial D did a lot for that car. You know, actually, when I first started hanging out with John, actually going down to the shop and hanging out, there was this guy that had dropped off an E86 that was there for an SR20 swap. It was just a straight up drift car. It was absolutely nuts. But that was the first time I saw, yeah, the actual inner workings of those cars. They are so simple. Good Lord. I can see why folks get into them. Like, it's a very basic car. I'll have to look that up. Cool. Very cool. Nathaniel Poe. Hey, I gave Nathaniel Poe a ride in my Fiat 500. I'll always remember him as the guy I gave a ride in my Fiat 500 in LA. It wasn't Matt Farah. Right on. I like tacos. No, they sound cool. They're really lightweight. John Bushbaum wants me to put one into the 124 when the Julie engine swap's done, which is cool. Yeah. I'll end up with one. They sound super cool. I'm really curious what it'll sound like in the 124. Yeah, Nathaniel, that was actually a super fun day. That was you, myself, and Sean Marshall going for bubble tea. That was pretty rad. Yeah, Nathaniel Poe has a pretty badass 500 abarth with a 1752. Yeah, if you do, put videos of it online. People need to hear what that sounds like. If we do it, we'll be doing it. I don't know what John wants to do, whether it be turbo back or whether it be cat back he'd want to do for titanium. We have to design the exhaust run. Oh, Forza's talking to me. Anyhow, yeah, we're going to design the exhaust, the basic exhaust design in aluminum first, and then make it in titanium. John really wants to try and find a way to get the exhaust note of the Giulia to sound as Ferrari-esque as possible. So we're going to lay out the exhaust in like stainless or whatever first, come up with the best sound possible, and then convert it to titanium. But yeah. Yeah, good sound clips are hard to find, but like it's because titanium's so expensive, right? Yes, I am going to marry a 124. Yeah, I'm definitely going to marry a 124. Yeah, it's gonna rub its bottom, play with its exhaust, twist its bolts. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, 124. Yeah, that's my car. That's a picture of my car. I took it into Adobe Illustrator. I did a limited color trace, and I put it on a T-shirt. If you ever want to design a T-shirt, get a T-shirt made, get it sent to teespring.com, and they'll make it for you. Super, super cool. Did y'all watch Mighty Car Mods? Tell me y'all watch Mighty Car Mods. How many folks here was Mighty Car Mods the first YouTube car show you signed up for to start watching? Like, honestly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You should start watching Mighty Car Mods. Mighty Car Mods is fantastic. Rad. I just learned that people did the cabin thing. Ended up hanging out at one of the cabins one night with a buddy, actually with a couple people when I was at the Dragon. Super, super cool. So yeah, definitely going to get a cabin this time around for sure. Yeah, I was looking for some people to go in with. It'd be fun to hang out with some abarth folks. Naturally, it'll be John as well. It's going to be there. But yeah, super, super fun. Chris Fix. Yeah, I've seen a couple of his videos. Definitely seen a couple of his videos. He's pretty big. It's kind of hard to miss him. But yeah, there's a lot of good big YouTubers out there that do car stuff. I think we're pretty lucky. Like, yeah, pretty bonkers, actually. What are some of your favorite YouTubers that do car stuff? Like, who do y'all watch? Like, I watch a lot of Cletus McFarland just because he's funny. Like, the guy has managed to make what? The Cletus is a character he does, right? That Cletus is not his real name and everything. I think most folks that watch him know that, but I think it's absolutely hilarious. Adam LZ, that guy is freaking amazing. That guy is fantastic. Yeah, that dude in blue. I like watching that dude in blue. He's kind of amusing. I think that dude in blue, it's kind of funny because you actually almost watch him grow up on YouTube, which is kind of funny. Tommy F. Yeah, Yeah. And y'all watch Boosted Boys? Tell me you watch Boosted Boys. Those guys are, yeah, absolutely hilarious. I love the fact they use eBay for everything. It's, yeah. Low cost motoring, man. There's something to be said for that. Like, I do a lot of Fiat stuff, but like I'm into a lot of other cars. And I'd love to do a stupid Honda build out of eBay parts just to do it and then just trash it when I was done. But yeah. Yeah, salvage purchases. There you go. I'd love to know who bought the salvage purchase or who bought the salvage 124. I would love to know who bought the salvage 124. Like, if they did, I'd love to make sure they're aware that like there's some hidden things in that car. Like, you know, to someone buying it off auction, if they didn't know that it was my car, that, you know, they would probably never realize that it had E85 fuel injectors in there or an encrypted E85 tune. Like, it's, yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to actually let that person know. I feel bad. Petrolicious, Gears and Gasoline, yeah, they're both really good. Petrolicious is one of my favorites for just pure, utter car porn. They're absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that guy does some amazing things. He's such a quirky character, too. Like, if you've ever seen... he brought a couple alphas for Matt Farah to drive, and... yeah, those videos are super, super cool. Like, he's such a quirky character. I think a lot of folks sat there making fun of his glasses a lot, but yeah, I can kind of relate with him on that. But super, super quirky guy, super great taste in cars, and he makes amazing videos. It's just, yeah. Yeah. You found CPR? Oh, man. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Tom's Turbo Garage. I've never actually seen that one. Alvin messaged that one to me, so I remember to check that out. Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that. Tom's Turbo Garage. Yeah, I'm actually planning a trip to California when the Julia swap's done. I want to actually... okay, so someone else mentioned the Snake. I want to bring the Julia swapped 124 around to all the Fiat meets. Like, I want to do them all. It's kind of been a fantasy of mine because I live in Vancouver. All throughout the time I've had Fiats, I really wanted to be able to go to all these different driving events. And, you know, I never could. I was never able to do it just because the amount of money and the amount of time off work and everything, it was just too difficult. But like at this point in time, you know, it's what I want to do. So I'm trying to go to all these different Fiat events. Yeah. Yes, Kevin. Yeah, I really want to go to all these Fiat events. So I want to go to Fiat on the Snake. I want to go to Fiat on the Dragon again. I want to go to the Fall Fiat on the Dragon. I want to go to the big Fiat meet, the Fiat Freakout. I was really hoping to go this year. But the timing chain cover difficulty made this whole engine swap thing take a stupid amount. Yes, Twisted Sisters is the other one. Thank you, Alvin. I want to go to all those things. But yeah, so that's my goal. My goal is to go to all of them. So yes, make it to Twisted Sisters and whatever. And yeah, it's fun. It's... you know, before the YouTube videos, like some of you folks that are in here knew me before the YouTube videos, just in the Fiat community. And it was really, really frustrating watching everyone have all this fun from Vancouver, right? But, you know, I've also always done stupid things with my Fiats. I've always had big turbo Fiats and done all these wacky things. But, you know, when you have all these things, and even when I'm just this guy on YouTube, it's just this guy on the internet who made a car. So going and meeting people in person and giving people drives and doing whatever with the cars, you know, letting people experience what the car is actually like in person. It's one of the most entertaining things in the world. Like, I love letting other people drive my cars. I absolutely love it. Now, the Julia swap, I'm admittedly going to be a bit more cautious just because I know that thing is going to be a hot mental mess if you just go absolutely bonkers with it. This is why gas pedals are an on and off thing. But, you know, for the most part, I love letting people drive cars. Like, going to see Matt Farah, that was so much fun. Especially, that was actually what got me into the concept of YouTube, was going to see Matt Farah. But being in the passenger seat, that was a ton of fun in the canyons. I'd never been there before. I was also exhausted. God, when I went to see Matt Farah, I'd been awake for 24 hours straight. I drove from, I spent the night over in Auburn, Washington, because John and I were finishing up a couple things in the car, and then I drove it from Auburn, Washington to California straight. I stopped for a 1-hour power nap midway. but ultimately drove straight there, went and picked up Alex Como, went to meet Matt Farah, and then was in the car on no sleep. It was just the funniest thing in the world. Like, if you guys haven't seen that video, just go to the Smoking Tire or just go on Google and look up Big Turbo Fiat 500, and then a video from the Smoking Tire will pop up, and that's my old Fiat 500. Yeah, that was a hilarious experience. Absolutely hilarious. I was so tired. And as a result, everyone thought I was scared out of my mind in the passenger seat. And I looked scared shitless in that video. Like, I completely did. But that was so much fun. So much fun. It's quite an experience. Huh? Manrico? Who's Manrico? Shingo with a beanie. I don't know what a Shingo is. I don't know what any of these things are. Okay, so what is a Shingo? What's a Manrico? Educate me. I have no idea. Default answer is always yes, but oh, pops and bangs. Oh, Alex, I'll race you even though I know you'll kill me. 800 horsepower Evo. How to have pops and bangs. Oh, how's it done? How's John do it? How's Torque do the pops and bangs? Torque has like a pops and gurgles tune. It's not the same as the pops and bangs tune. It does it differently using fueling outside of the cylinder. You don't want to have a pops and bang thing happening because of explosions in your cylinder. That's a horrible thing. So John's is done with gasoline outside of it, and you can turn it on and off with the sports switch in the 124. It's kind of cool, but I don't drive with that on all the time personally. Like, I think it gets a little bit excessive, and that's why having a switch is kind of nice. I can shut it off, but that's just tuning, right? I've been so distracted. I've had a couple people invite me, and I'm sitting here just staring at this thing talking now. Yeah. Anyone who adds me, keep me in there, and we can play Forza more with a bit more attention after this is done. How long have we been doing this for now? Oh God, I've been live for like an hour and 7 minutes. Yeah. Nathaniel, do you have Xbox? Tell me you have Xbox. Yeah. Anyhow, pops and bangs is all done with tuning. That's really what it comes down to ultimately at the end of the day. It's to do with your tune. That's fine. I forgive you, Nathaniel. It's okay. But yeah. And it is a cool, fun tune just for, making showy noises. There's never really an actual benefit from that. So just to be clear, anyone who has a car that goes for like a pops and bangy type tune, you're not really adding any benefit. If the fueling's done outside of the turbo, like our post, sometimes fuel can be used to cool the cat, I guess. I don't know. But even that just sounds dumb to me. Like, in terms of performance, you want a clean running tune. Alex Como can probably actually tell you what the best thing to have is, but you want a clean running tune without the noises as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. That's also thinking of a street car, something where you want longevity. You don't want the car to get destroyed. But yeah. No worries, man. Take it easy. Have fun. Like I said, this is a test. This is actually kind of fun, though. I've never done this live streaming before, so this is kind of cool. But I'll probably keep this going for a couple more minutes, and then I'm probably going to bounce out. Thanks a lot, man. Subscribing it helps, man. This is turning into such a fun thing to do. I never thought doing YouTube would be so much fun. But thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, anyone who ever wants to make a YouTube channel, you should just do it. I highly encourage, don't really put too much thought into it. Just, come up with your basic idea for what you want to do and just do it. It's so much fun. My car was on the Smoking Tire. If you go, that's a different channel, and he test drives other people's cars. So he drove my Fiat 500. If you look up One Takes, it's the Smoking Tire One Takes. Yeah. Anyhow, if you ever want to do, YouTube, you should definitely just go ahead and make a channel. It's one of the most entertaining things in the world. It is quite an interesting journey. And one thing I'd encourage you to do if you do that is look for local YouTuber meetups, because it can be a discouraging thing to do on your own, but having a bunch of other people around that are going through the same thing, learning the same ropes, or people who are a bit farther along the path, it's such an interesting thing to do. Like, I go to this one YouTube thing that's hosted by a guy named Steve Dotto, and he does this channel called Dotto Tech. And, it's really, really, really really useful being able to sit there and hear about what they're talking about. Yes, I do watch Hoonigans, and right now, we have a tie to the Hoonigans in a little way. The guy who designed the Hoonicorn, his name's Andy Blackmore. It looks like he's going to be doing some design for our car. The only reason that I'd be fortunate enough to work with someone like Andy Blackmore is he is in the local Fiat club. So he asked if we wanted to do something, and yeah, naturally said yes. Now he's a busy guy, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. The guy is absolutely brilliant. Super cool guy. He has an amazingly interesting work history. Like, I went with him to a Cars and Coffee once, and there was the Porsche hypercar sitting there, and it was all done in the Golf livery. And I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's cool. Golf livery looks great. Andy looks at it, and his eyes are just goes laser on the thing. And he's looking at some of the stripes on this livery. He's like, no, they got this wrong. They got this wrong. Like, in terms of getting it correct, this isn't supposed to happen until he knew every little detail about what is supposed to be on a Golf livery. But yeah, Andy, yeah, super rad guy. If you see this, yeah, Andy Blackmore design. The guy is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, he wants to do something with us for the 124, and I'm super excited. Just, we're lucky to even know someone like that. So yeah, you should talk to Andrea. Andrea has an LS swapped RX-7. Just so you know, Andrea from the Abarth chat Facebook group. This thing is totally going to kick me out. Okay, folks, I think I'm going to call it here. But yeah, that was a fun test of doing live streaming. Thanks to everyone who hung around and chatted. And yeah, I'll be sure to do this again. If y'all want to see this, leave comments. Let me know if you want me to do more of this. If you want me to do more of this, I will, because this was actually a lot of fun. A lot better than a lot of things I could be doing with my Sunday. Later, folks.